Okay, I go to the Pluto TV app. This is an IPTV service. It's free. There's a 24/7 Rescue 911 channel. And normally I just title them Rescue Justice True Crime Network. But Rescue 911 isn't on Justice True Crime Network anymore. So now I do my live streams from Pluto TV, and they have a 24/7 Rescue 911 channel.
For better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
It's our time to shine. Meet Shades EQ Gloss, exclusively in Redken salons. Shades EQ is a transforms your color with ultimate shine and condition.
And I'm actually
gloss
using
formula
the
boosts
free
shine,
tablet
brightens blonde,
that
and
got
gives you
from
that incredible hair color you can only get in the salon. Ideal for all hair types and textures.
Usually
Shades
I
EQ
use my
from the
phone.
#1 professional hair brand in the U.S. Redken. Ask your stylist for a Shades EQ gloss service.
In 2016, I was working at the Amazon warehouse when my brother passed away,
But
and
you know,
a couple
the
years
reason
later,
why
my mother
I
passed
put
away.
the title
After taking care of them,
November
I knew that I really wanted to become a nurse.
1947,
Amazon helped me with training
Betty
and tuition.
Broderick's birthday,
Today, I'm a
as
medical
well as
assistant
Rescue
and studying to
911,
become a registered
Pluto
nurse.
TV.
Hindi ko
Because
kayo
it is
makakain.
Betty Broderick's birthday Sunday, today.
Let's
And
celebrate
she
131 years of
was
helping people make it happen. You're invited to
woman
the
that
Console
made
Plus
headlines
Birthday Bash.
because
And
she
during the
shot her
big birthday price
ex-husband
cut, we've slashed
and
prices
his
on
new
furniture
wife,
for every room. Get
and
a free
actually his new
$250 gift
wife
card with qualifying furniture purchase.
of
Plus, get big
6
savings
or
on
7
furniture, appliances,
months,
and electronics. With financing
Linda
options
had
nobody else has,
actually
you can get low
had
payments
an
over
affair
time, good rent, or
while
building it. Make it
and was
Console
married
Plus.
to Betty.
Biology teacher Mary Young was the first to respond to the explosion.
I said, I'm blind. And at that particular time, I put my arms around him, guided him out, and I kept saying to him, no, you're not. I led him on back to the back of my classroom and held his head on the eye wash.
No one knew quite what had happened, but Mary Young's student ran to the principal's office to get help.
What I could see of his eyes, they didn't appear to be the right color. I was afraid that Mr. Tiller would not be able to see, but I didn't want him to think that.
Emergency?
The call came into 911 at 8:31 a.m.
Can you tell me what's wrong, please? It was the secretary. She sounded confused, anxious, and frustrated. It was obvious that the person that called was getting secondhand information and could not give any further help. I immediately dispatched Rescue 2.
Toxic fumes had filled the front entrance area of the math science building.
I was trying to flush until the paramedics arrived. He never lost consciousness. You know, he was frustrated, crying, and frightened, and I was too.
Oh,
When we were evacuated,
like this
everyone was taken
video?
out to the football
Thank
field,
you
and
for
people were
that.
playing around, because it was just like another fire drill. So it wasn't a lot of chaos. It was just people were talking and everything. When the ambulance drove up, silence covered the field. I wanted to know what was going on.
5 minutes after the call came in, paramedic Robert Lucas and his partner arrived at the scene.
Tell me what happened. Do you have any idea what kind of chemical it was?
Nobody was able to tell us exactly what the chemicals were or exactly what had happened, so we had to assume that it was some type of an acid or an alcohol and go ahead and remove the patient's clothing to keep any chemicals that were on his clothes at the time from continuing burning into his chest and back area. The patient's eyes were bloodshot and had a gray appearance when we first opened the eyelids and started the irrigation, but it had a crinkled appearance to it. It looked like a wadded up piece of saran wrap.
Somebody get that for us.
There just wasn't much that could be done for him. The only thing we could do was continue to irrigate and save what was left, but I really didn't believe that he'd ever see again.
I was frightened when I thought about what could possibly have happened. If he had panicked and the valve had exploded in that laboratory, we would have had a chain reaction that would have been tremendous. And it's no doubt that the children who were with him, as well as Mr. Chatilla, would have possibly lost their lives.
All I wanted to say was thank you, Mr. Chatilla, for saving our lives. So everybody it was a really emotional time.
So many people come every day.
Less than a year later, Sora Shatila's sight has almost returned to normal. His own quick thinking may have saved many lives, but it was the prompt action of his fellow young that saved his eyesight.
The one thing I learned out of this accident is how many people come forward and how many people are so friendly and so helpful. I never estimated that I have so many friends who are inquisitive about my welfare and about my safety. That is the greatest pleasure.
It indeed takes a... Mr. Chatilla never once thought about himself. The only thing that he thought about was the safety and welfare of his students and his colleagues. And for that, we will always be grateful.
Next,
I don't believe he was aware of the danger, and he probably was not aware that he was in such a vulnerable spot.
It's our time to shine. Meet Shades EQ Gloss, exclusively in Redken salons. Shades EQ transforms your color with ultimate shine and condition. Its unique gloss formula boosts shine, brightens blondes, and gives you that incredible hair color you can only get in a salon. Ideal for all hair types and textures. Shades EQ, from the #1 professional hair brand in the U.S., Redken. Ask your stylist for a Shades EQ gloss service.
Life moves fast. Slow it down.
I am on secret mission with my daughter.
What can I do to
to get a man.
You want them to like you. That way you can get money. How old do you like them?
Nearly dead.
I love that.
High five. You're dressed with real sexy feels.
This is a bag that just goes over the dress.
They're nice.
I really like this.
Rated R.
Meet the Picks. You know them, you've played them, and you've loved them. Get ready for a new arrival. Pick 5 is home. That's right. Now you can enjoy a new daily pick game. Pick 5 has even more exciting features than ever before, like front pair, back pair. Plus, you can win up to $50,000. Try Pick 5 today at a retailer near you.
There's a special bond among firefighters. But when they roll out the hoses and attack a blaze, they are all too aware that the beast they're battling is one that's not easily defeated. And even the precautions they take are sometimes not enough to prevent a tragedy.
Mark and I went through medical school together 5 years ago, which is when we met. And he was my closest friend in the fire department here.
And he's a very aggressive firefighter. He wanted to get that fire out right now. And he was doing everything he could to do that.
I told him I would probably lose him because he was someplace he wasn't supposed to be, pushing it.
I don't believe he was aware of the danger, and he probably was not aware that he was in such a vulnerable spot.
At 4:06 a.m. on October 10th, 1990.
The fire is Bristol and First Street. Bristol and First? Yeah. What's burning, sir? The tires. Okay, is it in the store? No, in the back. In the back? A lot of tires. A lot of tires in the back to the rear of the store? Yes. All right, we'll be right there.
Was dispatched.
When the interior captain.
Units respond, District 126.
7 additional units from stations 3, 4, and 5 were immediately dispatched to the scene. Firefighter Lorenzo Abundas was among them.
It was a still morning. Right from First Street, right out of the station, you can see a real dark column of smoke going straight up, just like a chimney. And I looked at my captain, and he looked at me. This is the big one.
In charge of the scene was Chief John Chambers.
We thought if we could make an interior attack, we could save records, computers, and possibly valuable information that could keep the people in business.
Firefighter Abundas cut the doors to gain entry.
With the hole, there was a lot of smoke that came out. And then I could see inside the glowing.
Captain Bill McCoy was supervising one of the entry teams.
Anytime you go inside, you're looking for trouble because it's dangerous. But it's a great way to stop a fire if you can get to it in time. I knew it was a tire store, and I figured we might encounter a vehicle or two in there. I wasn't sure exactly what we'd see. And as it was, we'd see nothing. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was really boiling. My job is to make sure that nobody gets hurt. So I'd go in and then I'd come out and I'd look and see where the fire was, because if it gets above you and it's really hot, you can have a building collapse. And after I went back in the third time, I could see we weren't going to get anywhere. Why endanger those guys' lives if you're not going to make any progress? So we pulled out.
All they could do now was try and keep the fire from spreading.
My breathing apparatus ran out of air, so I went to replace my air bottle. When I came back, I saw Mark Idy pulling the hose line, and I just went ahead and backed him up. So we were right up against the wall.
There was a a huge facade around the whole outside of the building. And I was very that right off the bat. I've seen them fall before. These are not this big. This was large, all stuccoed and wired and framed. It was heavy. It was very heavy. I was watching my guys, and I don't want those guys underneath that thing because if it falls, it's going to kill somebody. So I just grabbed them both and pulled back on them. I said, watch the facade not to fire. But I had no idea there was anybody else underneath that thing because I couldn't see because of the smoke.
I was standing there watching the firemen battle the fire. And I looked toward my right, and all of a sudden, I saw Mark Idy and Dennis Atencio there. Sounded like an explosion. I could feel the wind from it when it hit the ground, lifting up the dust and some of the embers. And it was on fire. Dennis and Mark were gone. I didn't have time to put my breathing apparatus on. So I lifted up the facade. I remember grabbing something which I thought was Dennis' attention.
I felt something grab me and pull me back, and I was being pulled back, and the next thing I know, I'm out, and they pulled me out in time before I got sustained any burns.
And I looked down to the south end, and I saw Abundance with, and I couldn't believe what I saw. He had the frame and the corner of that thing on his shoulder, and with his one free hand was pulling on Mark.
The smoke was gaggy. I tried to hold my breath as much as I could. Mark was making a real muffled cry. It was very screechy, real, like a death cry. I remember it was very, very heavy. And I started yelling, I can't hold it, I can't hold it any longer. I was pulling.
Paramedic Aiden McGuire was sent to treat the injured fireman.
It's bad news. The roots weigh a lot, and they're usually burning when they drop. So, I mean, there's potential for somebody getting killed quite easily when the root comes down someday.
When paramedic McGuire arrived, he realized the victim was his close friend, Mark Idy.
It's very difficult working on a friend, trying to maintain at least outwardly a calm appearance, even though inwardly I was kind of freaking out about the whole thing. When I looked inside his nostrils, they were looking very red, which is a sign that he may have got some hot gases. That could be a life-threatening condition, if not now, within the next couple of days, or it could lead to a permanent disability. It's something that you're very concerned about, his airway. He was in a lot of pain, especially from his burn on the back of the neck. We probably put a couple of gallons of water in between there in the hospital, just pouring it on, and then it would evaporate, it would stop burning, and we'd put it on. And just talking to him, just trying to calm him down.
Deep breath. Let's get some oxygen in here. Just relax.
Mark was transported to UC Irvine Medical Center, where his friend, nurse Tina Sorensen, happened to be on duty.
My heart speeded up a little because it was somebody that I knew and somebody that I knew well. It's not routine anymore. Whatever happens in that trauma room, whether it's a good outcome or a bad outcome, is intensified.
Hey, this is Mark Idy, a firefighter.
We work daily with paramedics and with the firemen. They see us each day. They bring us patients each day. We talk on the radio. It's really like one of your own team members that's been hurt.
Mark's wife, Leslie, a flight nurse, was on duty across from the hospital when paramedic McGuire came to tell her what had happened.
He was very solemn, so I was, that made it all the... I didn't know what to expect. The thing I did was walk into that trauma room because I just know what happens inside that room. He was sitting up, but he still had all the black soot all over his face. It looked like his skin was charred.
Mark had managed to escape with only a badly broken ankle and burns on his neck, back, and shoulder, thanks to Lorenzo Abundis.
If the wall stayed on T, that he would have died from inhalation injury. He would have had so much hot smoke material coming into his lungs, his airways would have closed, and he would not have been able to breathe.
Later that day, Lorenzo came to visit Mark at the hospital.
I walked in there and he looked up at me and he was real happy and a big smile on his face, and he just yelled out, "There's my hero." It was great. It was a real good feeling to know that he made it through.
3 months later, Mark Ides' injuries are almost healed, but the memories of that early morning are still vivid.
I could feel hot embers and hot coals starting to slide down my back. The flames got to my face. I could feel the skin on my face start to burn. And I realized that the superheated gases and the very hot air that these flames were giving off was going to kill me before I actually burned to death. And I had resigned myself that there wasn't any escaping this one. What Larry did was nothing short of a miracle. The son must have weighed hundreds of pounds. But something happened to him when he saw that thing fall on me.
He's a hero as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I've never seen him like that. He's just, I don't know, I'm really glad he was there. I haven't even think of that from our slide.
I don't know how heavy the wall was, but I feel that I got the energy and the strength from just knowing that there was somebody trapped there. It was two of my buddies trapped. Yes, I risked my life to do what I did for Mark and Dennis, but they would do the same thing for me.
Lorenzo Abundis received a Special Heroism Award and the Fireman's Medal of Valor for having saved the lives of 2 of his fellow firefighters.
We're real tight. We're real close. We joke around a lot together at the station. We're off duty, we get together and we do things, and we're a close family. We all stick together, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Game plan for game time with Mission Foods. Kick off a full flavor lineup. From first down to touchdown. Every time out to overtime. We've got the perfect snacks for you. Make your game day delicious with Mission Foods.
It's the all-new category game, Kablack. Roll the dice, flip the card, and blurt it out before the time runs out.
Roasting. You like me.
Kablack is the whole family laugh. But you are the category card, you'll want to play again and again. New from Hasbro Gaming. Take it home today.
It's our time to shine. Meet Shades EQ Gloss, exclusively in Redken salons. Shades EQ is a service that transforms your color with ultimate shine and condition. Its unique gloss formula boosts shine, brightens blondes, and gives you that incredible hair color you can only get a salon. Ideal for all hair types and textures. Shades EQ, from the #1 professional.
Life moves fast. Slow it down.
There she is, our top entertainment attorney.
Miss Hernandez. Hello, Jim.
No, I'm not.
I keep having those dreams. I'm gonna have my parents back.
I need him a while ago.
Hey, okay.
Lucas, man, come on.
Yeah.
Get reliably fast Wi-Fi coverage in every room of your house with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, a father's violent fall.
I noticed that his foot was spraying on the side.
Puts his life in the hands of his 7-year-old son.
My biggest concern was that he remained breathing and got there.
Then, a hunter's deadly mistake leaves a couple stranded and injured. Now a man must risk death to save his wife on Rescue 911.
As parents, we have to decide at what age our children are old enough to begin learning basic life-saving skills. But we tend to underestimate their capabilities, as Stephen Walker discovered on the evening of April 20th, 1990, while spending an evening alone with his 5-year-old son, Stevie, at their home in Indianapolis.
Steve, I'll take those, put on tape, and I'll be down in a minute, okay?
I've been leaving the two of them alone together since Stevie was born, because Steve is a very doting father, and he's very watchful. He was going to cook, and they were going to go downstairs, and they would have a good time.
There you go. One more nice bite, Dad. One more. There you go. Potatoes, baby.
I heard the crash, and I turned around, and I just thought that was playing a game. Dad? Dad? I go, Dad? And he doesn't answer. And I say, are you playing a joke? And he doesn't respond there either. Dad, are you playing? I noticed that his lip was spraying on the side, and I said, uh-oh, it's not a joke. I know it was all up to me, and my mind said, if you want to be good and be pretty special, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Stevie's call was taken by Marion County Fire Dispatcher Susan Love.
Fire dispatcher. The caller began to state that his father had fallen down the steps and was not moving. Okay, Stevie. I realized at that point that I was talking to a child, and I realized that he was there by himself. I said, Stevie, if you do exactly as I tell you to do, I can help you through this until the fire department gets there.
Rescue units were immediately dispatched to the scene.
I knew that he had not called his mom at work, he had not called his grandparents. He had immediately called 911, and that is very crucial. Can you tell me if he's breathing?
I took my fingers and put it right between his chin and his nose, and I felt air coming out, so I knew he was still breathing.
Now, I need to know if he's bleeding. Do you see any blood coming from anywhere? He said yes, there was blood coming from his head. The fact that he did have a head injury, that he was unconscious, that he wasn't moving, those are all very serious symptoms that you can put over where the blood's coming out to help control the bleeding. My biggest concern was that he remained breathing until the fire department got there. But Stevie was so respondent to me, I had total confidence that had he quit breathing, Stevie would have been able to deal with that too.
Guys, we got
EMTs and an advanced life support unit, including paramedic Jim Glad, arrived to help treat the victim.
He had a 3 or 4 inch laceration in the back of the head as a result of his fall down a flight of stairs. We weren't sure what the extent of the head injury was at that time.
Don't give me a hard time. Easy, bud.
If his father had remained unconscious, he may have very well bled to death or lost a considerable amount of blood to have endangered his life. So the time factor was very important. And as we were leaving the scene, realizing he's the one that had called, I got down on my knees, patted him on the shoulder. I said, if you're the one who called 911, you did a fine job. You probably saved your father's life.
Steve was taken to Community Hospital East, where he was treated for multiple brain hemorrhages and released 8 days later. It's been 2 years since the accident, but Steve Walker will never forget the night his son Stevie came to his aid.
I was very lucky that he was as intelligent as he was, and that he handled it with the calm and cool of a pro.
Think you'll drive one of these days?
Maybe.
He certainly saved my life, and there's a debt there I could never repay.
I'm just 30. I can go faster than that. I'm thankful that my dad's still here. We spend a lot of time together now because if he ever has another accident, I'll be there for him.
The show had a major effect. I think it took the scare away from him of facing an emergency.
I remember lots of times when Stevie and Dad would sit around and watch Rescue 911, and then to find out that he called 911 from just watching it. It was just amazing.
If 911 would have never been on the air, I probably would not be here on the face of the earth today.
Next.
Hunting in this area is very popular. A lot of people hunt within a half mile of their home.
Audible is the best place to listen for everyone. For sci-fi people, people who love a good scare, thriller people, and people who just want to be captivated with true crime. It's all here. Try it today, free for 30 days. Go to audible.com.
My voice, my strength. The new Eau de Parfum Intense. Voce Viva, Valentino.
the all-new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander.
When an important event happens in life, family members are often the first people we call.
Kids, your mom and I are so thankful that no matter what happens, good or bad, y'all feel like y'all can call us.
I'm rooting for every big game calling you, Pop.
Yeah, John Gordon, that time Penny got sick, Mom was the first one I called.
That's what I'm talking about, kids. No matter good or bad, whatever happens, family calls family.
We're a family law firm, a firm you can trust. If you're in a wreck, call us because we'll treat you like family. We want to be your lawyers for life.
Let's celebrate 131 years of helping people make it happen. You're invited to the Cons Home Plus Birthday Bash. And during the big furniture price cut, we've slashed prices on furniture for every room. Get a free $250 gift card with qualifying furniture purchase. Plus, get big savings on birthday buy appliances and electronics. With financing options nobody else has, you can get low payments over time, good credit, or building. Make it happen at Cons Home Plus.
The NCAA women's basketball tournament could expand to 68 teams. 2 Division I committees voted for the expansion, and final approval is expected in November.
From
selecting the perfect produce, to triple checking its quality, we have perfected the art of fresh.
In North Idaho on October 15th, 1989, as the light was beginning to fade, Dennis and Frances Queasty set out for a walk.
It was getting a little late for a walk, but we thought, well, go out and get some fresh air, take a quick walk, run down to the river, back home, kick your feet up, watch a little TV, and that would be it for Sunday. And it didn't turn out quite like that.
Mr. Queasty was very mad at what had happened here because he said he walks that path every night, him and his wife. He said it shouldn't happen.
Hunting in this area is very popular. A lot of people hunt within a half-mile of their home. Because of this, people have to be extra careful. You never know when somebody just might be out for a walk. We started for home, come back up the road about, I don't know, 200-300 yards, and there's a pickup truck coming. What are you doing down here?
I don't know. Can't tell when he's too late. Get out of its way.
The same instant, the muzzle flashed, the bullet was there.
I've been hit.
He got out of the pickup and he come up towards us, I don't know, 30, 40 feet, I guess. And we were hollering to tell him we were both hit, go call 911, we need help. When I saw Francis laying there, I just, you don't know what to think. I mean, there's a million things run through your mind. Death is way back there, but you don't really want to think about it. I looked at the bullet hole in Francis. It went in her chest, and I thought, this don't look real good. I'll go for help.
Dennis and Frances had both been hit by the same bullet. They needed immediate medical attention, but there was no phone anywhere near them.
I didn't get any response from anybody for hollering help, so I took the pistol out of my pocket, fired 3 shots in the air. And you're kind of in a daze there for a minute, but I feel a lot of blood coming. So I unbuttoned my shirt and stuck my hand in there, and I could feel the bone inside my arm and the joint there, and I could feel it was still all hooked together, so I knew it was still with me. And I took that shirt and I started packing it up in my armpit so it would kind of slow up the bleeding, and started to leave, and I thought, this don't really look good. I give her a hug, give her a little kiss, said I'll see you later, and I left. You just think maybe this might be the end. It's kind of a tough deal.
The first information about the incident was relayed to the sheriff's office at 6:45 p.m.
The male subject identifying himself as Don from Cleveland Medical Services called to advise that there had been an accidental shooting and that help was needed.
But they did not have a specific location. Rescue workers were dispatched to the rural area.
This is Mary at the sheriff's office. My name is Sharon. Are you the lady that called? Yes.
Within minutes, a woman called in, identifying herself as the wife of the man who had done the shooting. But even she could give nothing more than general directions to the location.
There's a million things running through my mind in that half mile that I come out of there. Probably the gist of the whole thing is wondering, is she still alive?
When we continue.
Yes, I've been shot. You've been shot? Yes, my wife is Frances, and I think she's dead. I'm going to buck the tax out, so I can't do anymore.
My voice, my strength. The new eau de parfum intense. Voce Viva, Valentino.
The all-new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. Get thunderstruck.
When an important event happens in life, family members are often the first people we call.
Kids, your mom and I are so thankful that no matter what happens, good or bad, y'all feel like y'all can call us.
I'm rooting for every big game calling you, Pop.
Yeah, John Gordon, that time Penny got sick, Mom was the first one I called.
That's what I'm talking about, kids.
No matter good or bad, whatever happens, family calls family.
We're a family law firm, a firm you can trust. If you're in a wreck, call us because we'll treat you like family. We want to be your lawyers for life.
Louisiana residents, having health insurance is essential. That's especially true in times like these. And Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana is here to help. If you don't have health insurance, or if you recently lost your coverage, now is the time to learn more about ways to protect you and your family's health. You may be eligible for the reliable, quality coverage you need from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana. Plus, there's a very good chance you qualify for assistance to help pay your insurance premium. Blue Cross is likely to have coverage options that fit your needs and cost a lot less than you may think. In fact, some people pay nothing. Call 1-833-893-4448 now. And if you qualify, we can even help you get enrolled today. Blue Cross offers a wide selection of plans, including new choices to protect your family and your budget. All plans give you access to quality doctors and hospitals, local customer service, and coverage that follows you and your family just about everywhere you go. Call now. Don't miss out on important health plan options and see if you qualify for extra help paying your premiums. Call 1-833-893-4448 or go online now.
It had been 10 minutes since a hunter had shot Dennis and Francis Queasty. Though seriously wounded himself, Dennis had been forced to go for help and leave his critically injured wife lying by the road.
When I got home, opened the door and called 911. I kind of felt lightheaded. I'm not really clear on what all I said when I called him.
His call for help came in at 6:52 p.m.
Yes, I've been shot. You've been shot? I've been shot. My wife, I know she's dead or not. In the Silver Bridge, the Henry store on the old Pipeline Road. I'm going to about to pass out, so I can't do anymore. All right, now, just a minute. Where are you calling me? I'm calling from my house. Right at the Henry store, right next door. Denny Queasy, you mean? All right, Denny Queasy? Yes, my wife is Francis, or I think she's dead. Oh, my. The neighbor right in here shot me. Thought it was a bear.
It just feels like if you close your eyes to just take a breather for a minute, that they might open back up again.
I'm going to black out. Did you advise the EPA to the area of Henry County? You there? I gotta go. Hello, are you there? I'm here. About 2 minutes away. Can you wait there for him, please? I'll do what I can. There is an ambulance coming, yes. All right, now just a minute.
My thought is, if I lose Dennis, I'm going to lose the location on his wife. He had a tremendous feeling for his wife, and he was going to do the best he could for her, and I think this is really what kept him on his feet.
You just got to do what you got to do. Adrenaline, I don't know what you call it, but you never did think about laying down and quitting.
Sheriff's Deputy John Mocotel, who arrived first, had known Dennis for years.
Dennis Queasy informed me that he had been shot. He thought his arm had been blown off, and his wife, he thought she was dead. I wanted to give him some medical attention, but he didn't want any medical attention. He wanted to get to his wife as soon as possible.
And we went across the highway and back down to this pipeline road, and I'm telling him that Francis is going to be laying along here someplace. But all the time that you're going down there, you're not sure what you're gonna find, you know? It's kind of gnawing in the back of your mind that it isn't gonna be what you want to find when you get there.
Just off to the side of the road.
While driving down this windy road, Denny told me that he didn't know for sure exactly where he left her. And so he was searching and looking as hard as I was. I've known Francis as long as I've known Dennis, and she's a really neat person. It was rather difficult to drive through there and try to get there as quickly as possible without running over her.
When she seen the lights of the car coming, she did raise her leg up in the air and wave her foot back and forth so we could see where she was. We were just within 15 or 20 feet of her.
Here, go down. You okay?
She said she was in pain. I quickly checked for bleeding. I found multiple injuries from her chest down to her abdomen. Bleeding seemed to be under control. And I explained to her that I didn't want to do anything to her at that point, and I wanted to keep her warm.
The ambulance arrived soon after.
It was a little bit of a shock when I rolled up on the scene and saw that it was Dennis Quisty was one of the victims. I've known Dennis and his wife both for about 20 years.
EMT Steve Berg and Don Dion took care of the couple at the scene.
Dennis was he was very pale. He had very large black circles around his eyes, and he was dripping with sweat. The only thing that was obvious to me was someone had gunned him. He looked like he'd been hunted.
The alleged suspect came in to the area and started screaming, "I thought it was a bear, I thought it was a bear, I didn't mean to shoot." And I told him, this is not the time or the place, we'll conduct the investigation when the wounded are gone.
The gunshot wound entered the right side of the chest, and she stated to me that she could feel the bullet sticking out her back. And the dangers that I feared the most was that it had punctured the lung, or it hit a major organ and she was having a lot of internal bleeding. There really wasn't a lot we could do at the scene other than just get them transported to the hospital, because it was obvious that both of them needed surgery.
Time was of the essence. We stopped the bleeding, we treated for shock, and we got her butts out.
By the time the ambulance made it the 8 miles to the nearest hospital, emergency medical staff members had gathered, including Dr. James Joy.
What do you got, Steve? Vitals? What they? Francis? Francis, can you hear me? Francis, you hear me, Francis? What do you want? Okay, she's got no airway obstruction.
My first appearance of her was that she was very shocking. She had that cold, clammy, very pallid appearance, whitish appearance. We immediately started life support treatment to the patient. Her situation was very critical at that time. Her pressure was very low.
Blood pressures every 2 minutes, Dawn, let's cut her clothes on.
Once her pressure responded with fluids, I did my initial evaluation of the patient.
Get the chest tubes out, get the chest.
My main concern was, I knew she had abdominal trauma, but did she have chest trauma? Some serious chest problems may not show you symptoms at that particular time. They can develop an hour, 2 hours afterwards. And I didn't want to get myself into a situation here that I couldn't handle, for fear that, I would be jeopardizing this patient's life.
Francis was flown by Lifebird to a hospital in Springwater. Washington, which was better equipped to handle any complications from her wound. Dennis was taken by ambulance to the same hospital, where both underwent immediate surgery.
I told Frances if she got this far, she'd make it the rest of the way.
Among the shooting, Dennis and Frances are still recuperating. If found guilty, the man accused of shooting faces a maximum penalty of little more than that for shooting bears out of season.
It's hard to even let it sink in all at once that she might have died. It's really hard to think about. And when I realized what my sons had been through and their wives and my parents, all this that they'd been through waiting to see if I was going to live, it was just terrible to think that they had been through they'd suffered so much.
Frances is a very lucky woman that she's alive today, and it's my belief that had she been shot directly in the chest, that she would have died. And the fact that her husband absorbed the initial shock is probably what saved her life.
I look at Frances now, I mean, you just know she's going to be better soon, so we can get on to do the stuff that we like to do together, you know. Today my hand and my arm are still pretty much numb. I've been doing a little bit of therapy at the hospital. I haven't seen that's made a lot of difference, but they say it will. So we'll continue doing that.
But Dennis may never be able to return to work as a mechanic.
When anyone hunts, they should have a clear picture of their target. A lot of people shoot a brush. They should never shoot a brush. A clear target is your only answer to safe hunting. You just can't shoot anything that moves.
I'm just thankful we're both still alive. You can't really get it across how much you appreciate rescuing people. I mean, the words just don't say that. I'm just glad we're alive.
Hi, we're Osmo. We give hands-on learning a digital twist. Osmo reacts in real time, so every experience is unique. Our games build core skills for each grade. Spark confidence, creativity, and curiosity. Get everything your child needs to play and learn with Osmo.
My voice, my strength. The new Eau de Parfum Intense. Voce Viva, Valentino.
When you're driving a Lincoln, stress seems to evaporate into thin air, which leaves us to wonder, where does it go? Does it get tangled up in knots? Or disappear forever into some kind of bottomless pit? Or maybe it takes on a life all its own. Perhaps you'll come up with your own theory of where the stress goes. Behind the wheel of a Lincoln is a mighty fine place to start.
You might not see anything wrong with your vision, but if you have diabetes, you can start developing a serious eye condition before you notice any symptoms. Don't put off getting a comprehensive eye exam to check for signs of diabetic retinopathy.
If you have diabetes, excess sugar could be causing damage in your eyes. So, now is the time to get your eyes checked. Eye care is important to your long-term diabetes management. See a path forward for help. Learn more at nowic.com.
My dad took care of me my entire life. Now it was my turn to take care of him. Make the right choice, like God did. Call St. Joseph Hospice.
When it's time to take care of your loved ones, call St. Joseph Hospice 24/7 for a free consultation. Call us now and let us answer your questions. Call 844-200-1104. That's 844-200-1104.
Make the right choice. Choose St. Joseph Hospice.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Lucas. Yeah.
Lucas, ¿qué haces aquí?
Meditating?
Meditating. Get reliably fast Wi-Fi coverage in every room of your house with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, high voltage horror.
When I came up to him, he wasn't breathing.
A rescuer gets the shock of his life.
I noticed that his socks were burned to his leg.
And parents work down to the wire.
I was worried that he was going to die at that time.
Then, an injured boy is stranded in the wilderness.
He told me he couldn't move.
Can his family get before he freezes?
The only thought that I had was, we've got to get over there quick.
On Rescue 911.
We never need each other more when something terrible happens in the middle of nowhere. On July 20th, 1989, disaster struck on the edge of a Nevada highway miles from the nearest town, and a man's life was in the hands of whoever happened to pass by.
US 50 across this stretch is called the loneliest road in America. Sometimes you can drive 100 miles and you maybe only see 10 vehicles. We have a lot of accidents on US 50 from people going to sleep, drifting off the side of the road, rolling over.
Around 8:30 p.m., a pickup truck with 3 people in it went off the road, rolled over once, and slammed into the base of a 45-foot power pole, completely shearing off the top of the pole. Neva Worthington and her husband were on their way to Reno. When they saw the smashed truck by the side of the road, they stopped to help.
When I got there, there was no way that I knew that he had got hit with electricity. I was trying to check him over. He was thrashing around trying to get up. I really couldn't examine him very well because he was trying to get up and I didn't want to get up under this wire.
A passing motorist stopped to call 911.
Hi, I'm calling to report an injury accident 25 miles east of Falmouth, Nevada on Highway 50. Okay, are they off the road or on the road? They're off the road. Pickup truck. It was a rollover, hit a telephone pole.
David and Susan Baker and their 4 children were on vacation, heading to California from their home in Texas.
We saw the truck and we both thought it was abandoned. When we saw the man lying there, we saw the other people trying to help him. David just stopped and asked, has anybody called?
They assumed Greg Hunchard had been hurt in the truck accident.
Okay, I believe there are 3 people injured. We did not stop for a second. We turned right around and came back in ambulance. Okay. Okay, hold on, hold up.
paramedics were dispatched immediately.
Injury 1050. Highway 50 East, 25 East of Allen. Injury 1050. Address requested.
He didn't even stop to think. You know, we didn't really even talk about it. He just turned around and went on back to the scene.
For David Baker, the choice was clear.
I've always had a fear of coming upon an accident and find someone in an accident that's in real bad shape.
Kurt Stahl was also driving by on US 50 when he saw the accident scene and stopped to see if he could help.
He looked like he was in pretty bad shape. His nose was all mashed up.
Is there anybody else involved? Okay, just try and wait still. I'll go see how these guys are.
He was afraid. He was yelling, I don't want to die. Don't let me die. I need to lay down. I explained to him that he was laying down. He kept trying to get up.
10-3, we got truck. Go over. Possibly 3 injured.
Not knowing exactly what was wrong with Greg, they tried to calm him so he wouldn't injure himself further while they waited for help to come.
He pulled up onto the side of the road and I asked him if he knew any first aid and if he could help us, and he said, yeah, I know first aid.
Greg was trying to get up. He was fighting and he was right under the wire, and I was afraid that he would get up and give it to him. Dave Baker asked me how he was doing. I told him that his pulse was okay, his respirations were okay.
David's family watched from the car.
I was hoping that the ambulance would hurry up and get there, and David, maybe he could help this man and maybe he couldn't, but the children were worried. They were frightened. It scared them, seeing somebody else injured.
He said, is there anybody else? I said, yes, there's one in the truck.
It happened so fast that I really didn't realize what had happened until he fell to the ground. You just watched someone you love be electrocuted and he may be dead.
When we continue,
That electricity has gone from this man's brain all the way out his feet.
My voice, my strength. The new Eau de Parfum Intense. Voce Viva, Valentino.
When you're driving a Lincoln, stress seems to evaporate into thin air, which leaves us to wonder, where does it go? Does it get tangled up in knots? Or disappear forever into some kind of bottomless pit? Or maybe it takes on a life of its own. Perhaps you'll come up with your own theory of where the stress goes. Behind the wheel of a Lincoln is a mighty fine place to start.
In 2016, I was working in some warehouse when my brother passed away, and a couple of years later, my mother passed away. After taking care of them, I knew that I really wanted to become a nurse. Amazon helped me with training and tuition. Today, I'm a medical assistant, and I'm studying to become a registered nurse. Hindi ko kayo makakalimutan.
When it's game time, everyone's got a favorite number. Whichever number you go with, you'll get free delivery on Saturdays when you order with Jersey Mike's app. Jersey Mike's, a sub, a bomb. Let's celebrate 131 years of helping people make it happen. You're invited to the Cons Home Plus Birthday Bash. And during the big furniture price cut, we slash prices on furniture for every room. Get a free $250 gift card with qualified furniture purchase. Plus, Plus, get big savings on birthday buy appliances and electronics. With financing options nobody else has, you can get low payments over time, good credit, or building it. Make it happen at Cons Home Plus.
The NCAA women's basketball tournament could expand to 68 teams. 2 Division I committees voted for the expansion, and final approval is expected in November.
Navy officer Harold Clark and his friends had overheard a call about an injury accident. As CPR instructor, Harold immediately focused his attention on David.
When I came up to him, he wasn't breathing, and you could smell the burnt flesh. And the way he was laying, he wouldn't have started breathing on his own. His airway hadn't been cleared. I went in to open up his airway and gave him 2 breaths, and he started breathing.
I was so relieved when I heard that he was still breathing. I got a rush of fear and a rush of relief all in about the span of 2 minutes, and it was very frightening.
Somebody said, we gotta get this power turned off. I just took off to make the 911 call.
Kurtz would be the 3rd call for help.
Okay, on Highway 50, mile marker 46, a power line was struck in this accident. And a man in the rescue attempt that we're trying to help these people accidentally stood up and hit his head on that thing, and he got a shock. I mean, it burnt him bad. He's on the ground now. Okay, they're on their way out there. He is down, and he has a burn across the top of his head, 6 inches long. Okay, thank you, sir, very much. They're on their way.
Once he came to, he wanted to get away. We tried to held him still, just keep him from hurting himself.
He looked like he had a cut in the top of his head, and from when I got down to his feet, I noticed that his socks were burned to his leg.
An estimated 20,000 volts of electricity had passed down David's body.
He said he can't see. He said, help me, I can't see, I can't see. We said things like, it's dark out here, David. That's why you can't see. It's dark out here, just calm down.
The Nevada Highway Patrol arrived. The first official on the scene was Trooper Dan Luke.
I heard the man screaming, couldn't see, and he was delirious. They couldn't make him understand anything. I was worried that he was going to die at that time. I'd never seen anybody like him before.
From the nearest town of Fountain, Sheriff Bill Lowry headed to the scene.
I cautioned the units while they were at night to be careful of electricity. I got a call from dispatch that had talked to a local electrician who had monitored on the scanner, and he said, be careful because that electricity can jump about 3 feet out of that high voltage wires.
Barbara Frank and her partner were the first paramedics to arrive.
Right here, we're coming.
As triage officer, Barbara took charge of the medical treatment at the scene.
The first rule of triage is to always secure your scene for you and your personnel. And it wasn't a safe scene. We had a high tension line down that we had to cross back and forth under. That's not a good idea in any situation, but there's no way to stabilize that line. There's no other way to do it. You can't stand there with 3 hurt people looking at you, screaming for you to do something and say, I'm not crossing underneath that line until the line is no longer hot.
Hey, what's our clearance on the fire? Watch those fires.
It had been a half an hour since David was electrocuted.
I was crying. I remember crying, but it was so dry and windy out there that no tears would come.
You know, that electricity has gone from this man's brain all the way out his feet. It can do a lot of internal damage, both neurologically, structurally, to the bones, to the tissue. You don't know how much it cooked in between those 2 points of an entrance and exit.
The downed lines were within a few feet of the ground.
When you got too close to the tension line, you could feel it. After I crossed into that line a few times, I didn't want to go back and forth anymore after that. Anyone could have been killed. Myself, my partner, any of the bystanders that we allowed onto the scene. Anyone that got too near that line.
The down power lines were still hot, carrying 34,500 volts of electricity when Sheriff Lowry got to the scene. They continued to work under the lines until all the victims were stabilized and could be moved.
For some reason, the electricity didn't interfere with the electrical impulses that go through the heart. Our main concern was he going to go into cardiac arrest again? Was he going to have a seizure from this?
Rescue workers and volunteers broke with normal procedure and common sense to risk their lives for Greg and David.
Just about the time we started loading, he went into a real flashback type thing. He kept screaming, somebody grab the wheel, somebody grab the wheel, we're gonna wreck. God, please help me, somebody help me.
It's a spooky thing to watch something like that happen, to not know if they're alive again. I honestly thought Dave Baker was dead until the ambulance got there. It could have been one of us very easily.
This call really showed what volunteering was all about. Both volunteering from the bystanders' point of views and just about what teamwork all together was about. And it was a call everyone should be proud of, including those people who stopped and rendered aid.
2 months later, David Baker is undergoing intensive physical therapy.
The whole body works off electricity, and because of it being short-circuited, basically, it's been disconnected. Your muscles and everything have to learn where they belong and how to react. It's like a baby learning to roll over, how to move. If you want the arm to go up, what you have to do to make it go up. And it's really painful at first and hard. I like just roll over would cause me to break out into a sweat.
They'll be in the hospital for quite a while. Probably about 6 more months or so. Soon he should, in a week, 2-3 weeks, he may be able to walk on crutches. But I just ask that you would help my dad get better as soon as possible, and that he might not die.
Mentally, he's great. Physically, we don't know how much nervous system damage there is. I never would ever think that this would happen to me or my family. It's been sort of unreal. You feel like you're just going through the motions, you know, it's not really happening to you. You just don't want to really think that it's happening to you. It's hard to describe.
Greg Unshaw received skin grafts where he was burned by the electricity, but has otherwise recovered.
I was next to David for a few days, and him and I were together. He was in definite pain, I was in definite pain. We didn't talk to each other much. I think everybody had helped. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. But David especially, because he's going through what I'm going through. He feels what I feel.
David's doctors expect that he'll be able to lead a normal life, but he may never be the same as he was before risking his life to help a stranger. The man who gave David artificial respiration under the wires understands the choice he made.
I think he did what he thought he had to do. Each man feels different things inside. Some people say, well, it's their problem, let them handle it. Some people don't feel that way. I would hope that if I'm ever in a predicament where I need help, somebody would come and help me.
To me, when I see somebody that's hurt and needs help, I just was raised, you just can't turn them down, really, no matter what the cost and what. And even if it puts yourself in a little bit of a danger, if you've got to put forth the effort to save someone.
Next, it was getting dark, it was cold out, but I had to leave him, not knowing whether I would be able to find him again.
Hi, we're Osmo. We give hands-on learning a digital twist. Osmo reacts in real time, so every experience is unique. Our games build core skills for each grade. spark confidence, creativity, and curiosity. Get everything your child needs to play and learn with Osmo.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. They help restore my natural barrier so I can lock in moisture. We've got to have each other's backs. CeraVe, developed with dermatologists.
Emily just got married. Congrats, by the way. And she's applying for life insurance online, right now, from her couch. With Haven Life. Let's watch. Looks like Emily can buy a Haven term policy for just $17.50 per month. That's around 30% less than the industry average. And now Emily can love her new life insurance just as much as her new life. This calls for 2 celebrations. Celebrate twice with Haven Life.
Hey, how's it going? Hey,
Okay.
Look at me, come on! Jump, jump, jump.
Yeah.
Lucas, ¿qué haces aquí?
Meditating?
Meditating. Get reliably fast Wi-Fi coverage in every room of your house with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi.
What's Dietz and Watson all about? Well, it's a tradition thing, and a kitchen thing. It's a ham spice thing, and a fresh slice thing. A deli thing, a full belly thing. A snack it thing, and a pack it thing. It's a chillin' and grillin' thing. It's a hammy thing, and a Sammy thing. But mostly, it's a family thing. Dietz and Watson, it's a family thing. Since 1939.
For Mary Jo Keller, the Thanksgiving holidays in 1988 were special because they brought her entire family together again. But when everyone gathered from around the country at the family ranch in Salmon, Idaho, they never imagined a holiday celebration would test their faith in miracles.
It was the first time that we would all been together in about 5 years. My mom and dad are divorced, and it was a really jubilant experience to have us all as a family again.
The family had decided to take advantage of being together by celebrating Christmas early. Late in the afternoon, Mary Jo's youngest brother, 16-year-old Will Barton, volunteered to go out and get a Christmas tree.
He was very, very athletic, and that was very important to him. And he was just starting to get into what life was all about.
Remember all the trees that we saw over the hill? Yeah. Then we go down that valley. Yeah.
Will drove up into the hills with his high school friend Matt Koppelman to look for the best tree to cut down.
I went out for wrestling, and he was also in wrestling, and he, became a good friend to me that way.
A bunch of good trees.
There was a high tree that was that had a good top on it, and Will decided to go up and climb it and cut off the top, the first 7 feet or so, and it was probably about 35 feet up, maybe 40, but he was determined to go up this tree anyway.
It's easy to see the mistakes afterwards, because in the middle of November, they're slippery and they're brittle, and you've got more clothes on than you used to, and don't climb a tree.
arches break. And I looked up and I just saw him falling. He told me he couldn't move his arms and legs, he couldn't feel anything. So I knew that it had to be a back or neck injury and that I wasn't supposed to move him. But he then told me that he was having difficulties breathing, and I had to take his legs and swing him around so that he could breathe with more ease.
How can you say that?
Right here.
Here, I'll put my cut on you.
You gotta hurry.
It was getting dark, it was cold out, but I had to leave him, not knowing whether I would be able to find him again.
When Matt came back to the house and started describing that he wasn't moving at all and just barely able to whisper, Julie right away said it sounds like a spinal injury.
Okay, you're bored?
Will's sister, Julie Myers, was a registered nurse.
My biggest fear was if it is a spinal cord injury, it could swell and he could quit breathing. And the only thought that I had was, we've got to get over there quick.
Will's brother, John, also rushed to help.
The first thing that went through my head is, Will's gonna freeze to death if he's not dead already. It was just, if we can find him, we might be able to save him. If we can't, he's gone. Matt wasn't very familiar with the ranch, so, your heart just sinks and you're going, what do you mean? You think you know where is he? Well, he's over there. And you're just going, well, there's 25 miles over there that it could be.
Hi, we're Osmo. We give hands-on learning a digital twist. Osmo reacts in real time, so every experience is unique. Our games build core skills for each grade. Spark confidence, creativity, and curiosity. Get everything your child needs to play and learn with Osmo.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. They help restore my natural barrier so I can lock in moisture. We've got to have each other's backs. CeraVe, developed with dermatologists.
When you're driving a Lincoln, stress seems to evaporate into thin air, which leaves us to wonder, where does it go? Does it get tangled up in knots? Or disappear forever into some kind of bottomless pit? Or maybe it takes on a life of its own. Perhaps you'll come up with your own theory of where the stress goes. Behind the wheel of a Lincoln is a mighty fine place to start.
You've been waiting all week to fire at the grill. Just think of it, the food, the fun, the family memories. But with long shift times virtually everywhere you look, your wait might be far from over. Barbecue guys believes long shift times shouldn't snuff out your sizzle. That's why we've gathered all grills that leave our warehouse within 3 days in one convenient spot for you to shop. No more searching for the best shift times and no more wasted days you could have spent grilling. Visit bbqguys.com/instant to get your instant grillification.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, we're good.
Lucas, man, come on!
Yeah.
Lucas, ¿qué haces aquí?
Meditating?
Meditating. Get reliably fast Wi-Fi coverage in every room of your house with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi.
Do men and women invest differently? When it comes to investing behavior, gender differences may not be as large as they appear. I'm Shauna Prejean, financial advisor at the Exit Planning and Wealth Consulting Group of UBS, and our team has the experience and access to resources to help you pursue your financial goals. Call us today to start the conversation.
Is your bathroom stuck in an endless cycle of flush, stink, repeat? Ew. Better get Febreze Small Spaces. Press firmly to activate. And unlike the leading comb, Small Spaces continuously eliminates odors, preventing that endless odor cycle for up to 45 days. That's freshness you'll want in every small room. Closets? Yep. Kids' rooms? Good idea. Even when her bathroom is also your laundry room. Prevent odors with Febreze Small Spaces.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, a desperate rescue.
It was cold, probably 15 degrees below zero.
As a family searches the freezing wilderness for their wounded brother.
We didn't take time to realize how bad he was. We just knew we had to get him out of there.
Then, a 6th grade student gets a crash course in saving a life.
I was scared because I figured he might not live.
But can he make the grade? On Rescue 911.
It had been nearly 2 hours since 16-year-old Will Barton had fallen 40 feet from the top of a tree. Family members combed miles of the ranch, searching for the spot where he lay with no idea how injured he might be. But as darkness set in and temperatures plunged below freezing, his sister was losing hope that her youngest brother would still be alive when they found him.
Mom was just saying everything's gonna be fine, he's not gonna be that serious. And I tried to believe her, but I couldn't believe her because it just had that feeling. It's like time skips a beat, and when it resumes beating, your life's changed. It was really dark outside. It was cold, probably 15 degrees below zero with the wind chill factor. But we didn't notice the cold.
Yeah, where is he? We had that whole mountain where it could be, and we panned out, we started running, and were we in the right spot? Just the anxiety of not knowing was the worst.
Bill?
Bill!
We thought, well, maybe we could follow footprints, but there were footprints all over the mountain because they'd been traipsing back and forth trying to find the perfect tree.
When we continue,
The only sound you can hear are other people calling William's name, and I remember the loneliness thinking, oh, what if we don't find it?
Switch your business to the power of Verizon 5G, and your employees can get the 5G Business Unlimited plan that's right for them.
Better your business with unlimited premium data and get it done on the go with more hotspot data. Book an appointment today.
Because every business deserves better.
The best gifts get the best miles, and the best gifts are from VTech. Score big points. Say great job. Learn something new. Or just because it's so much fun. There's nothing better than the best gift ever. VTech, best gift ever. Each sold separately, batteries not included.
When you're driving a Lincoln, stress seems to evaporate into thin air, which leaves us to wonder, where does it go? Does it float off into the clouds? Or shoot off like a rocket? Or maybe it winds up somewhere over the Bermuda Triangle. Perhaps you'll come up with your own theory. Behind the wheel of a Lincoln is a mighty fine place to start.
Are you like me, Jeff Goldblum? Maybe we share an interest in monsters, magic, motorcycles, dogs. Do anything. I love to learn about everything. The journey is it, not the destination. Enjoy the ride. That's 10 Goldblums out of a possible 10 Goldblums.
How can Experian Boost help you?
Damn, what? I just raised my credit score by 21 points with Experian Boost.
I boosted 16 points using Experian.
With Experian Boost, my credit score went up 19 points.
I got credit for paying my utilities and paying for my streaming services.
It's nice to be rewarded for bills that I have to pay anyway.
It's super easy. Just download the Experian app.
Boost your credit scores instantly, free, only at Experian.com/boost.
The only sound you can hear are other people calling William's name, hoping for a sound. And I remember the loneliness thinking, oh, you know, what if we don't find him?
William!
I heard him from a little ways off, and I kind of stumbled right onto him.
He looked real white. His pulse was real slow. He was real cold. He looked really bad.
We need to move around here to the board here rather than change
Moving? Yes, I gotta hold his shoulders.
I put my hands underneath his shoulders and put his head in between my arms. And I held onto his neck and head and shoulders while they moved him onto the board and straightened him out.
I can't feel nothing.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it. How are we gonna get him out of here?
We all looked up the mountain and realized there was no way we were going to get him back up the mountain.
Will's family decided to carry him out a longer, more indirect route that would avoid the steepest slope.
We didn't take time to realize how bad he was. We just knew we had to get him out of there and do it as carefully as possible.
I'm going up that mountain, trying to carry him like that. It wasn't more than 50 yards, and every one of us were totally exhausted.
By the time they managed to get Will back to the house, more than 2 hours had passed since he fell.
I ran out to see how serious it was, and I could tell that there was terror in all their eyes.
I just stepped out of the car and fell into Mom's arms and just started crying. I said, Mom, he's not okay.
When they got to the hospital, the family's physician, Dr. Boyd Simmons, was there to meet them.
He was completely paralyzed in all four extremities. We got an x-ray of his neck, and it showed a fracture and a dislocation of his neck.
He has a fracture.
Didn't appear from x-rays like there was an awful lot of room for his spinal cord to go down the spinal canal. And so I really expected the worst.
Will was placed in traction and airlifted 90 miles to a trauma center in Missoula, Montana. His father, Walt Barton, who had left the ranch 2 days before, drove for 12 hours through a blizzard to see his son at the hospital.
I can remember the hurt that I felt all the way to Missoula. In fact, I cried 90% of the time. I just kept saying to myself, why? To think that a fine young boy like that with all that potential, all of a sudden everything had come to a screeching halt.
Neurosurgeon Henry Gary told them that surgery might be the only way to realign Will's spine. But because the procedure itself was risky, Dr. Gary wanted to wait 24 hours to see if traction alone would work.
the whole family decided, and anyone that even knew us, decided to fast and pray for William. And this started at 6 o'clock in the evening, and at 6:30, the breathing therapist came in to pump William's lungs up to make them work. At that point, something popped in his neck.
You okay? You all right?
It scared the breathing therapist to death.
Probably had enough for tonight.
The vertebrae had lined back up, and they did not have to do surgery.
Again, you can see the alignment is almost normal.
Even though the vertebrae had realigned, Will still had no feeling from the neck down. His prognosis for recovery was not good.
At that point, they diagnosed him as a quadriplegic. He would never walk again, and he would probably never feed himself again.
We have to turn him every 45 minutes to keep the circulation going, keep him getting vegetables. I just remember something. You're one of those tough Barton boys.
There was nothing Mary Barton could do to lift her son's spirits.
William really got depressed, and he would just lay there, staring at the ceiling, and I asked him what was happening, and he says, "I'm just practicing being a vegetable." What's happening? He says, "If you love me, you'd do something really special for me." And I says, "What are you talking about, Will? What do you want me to do?" He said, "Just put a pillow over my face and take me out of my misery."
Let me know if you feel dizzy or uncomfortable, hot, sweaty.
Will began attending daily physical therapy.
Is he all right? He doesn't have a heartbeat. What's happening? The one nurse was breathing in his lungs, and he started breathing again.
Will?
Are you okay, Will?
I remember the nurses rushing around me, panicking, trying to, they were trying to get the pulse, and I started to see a bright light and the most beautiful garden you've ever seen.
It's slow, Shelley.
That was the turning point in my whole recovery, because it was my choice to be here. I would have bad days after that, but I never wished I hadn't have made that choice. I'm glad I did.
His condition slowly improved, but doctors held out little hope that he'd never walk again.
It was about late February. He said, "I feel really strange. What I want you to do is I want you to pull me up and hold me." He said, "I don't want to stand up." Neil, what do you want me to do now?
Try to step back.
Step back?
Yeah, I think I can stand.
And all of a sudden I felt the weight of his body relaxing, and I felt him starting to take on some of the weight that he had. And before it was over with, he was standing there pretty much by himself.
Hey man, look at that. Stand.
By the following Christmas, Will Barton and his family had reason to celebrate.
I had to relearn to walk, but I was determined to work as hard as I could.
Sure you will. There you go. Back.
It seemed a lot like being a baby again and having to relearn to use your muscles, and you fall down a lot and get scraped up, and you just carry on.
Walking pretty fast. Rory, old Chevy, right?
They tutored him, he came back, and he graduated with his high school class. There were over 5,000 people in that stadium. And Will walked down that aisle and received his diploma.
Good seeing you guys.
He worked hard. First one toe, and then one finger.
Not quite as good as mine, but it'll do.
And he is progressing, and I know that he will get well.
William has been such an inspiration to the family from a standpoint of strength, from a standpoint of being able to accept, from a standpoint of seeming to just bring the family unit closer together. Before, I was very athletic and
things of the world were, that's what mattered. After my accident, I was very appreciative of what I had. Just motion, getting up from one place and moving to another place. It's a really big thing. My family helped me a lot in my recovery, and I realized it's the family that matters the most.
Next.
I was just running really hard because I just was thinking the faster I get there, and the sooner I'll get help, and the more chance I'll have of living.
Oh, it's collapsed.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. They help restore my natural barrier so I can lock in moisture. We've got to have each other's backs. CeraVe, developed with dermatologists.
When you're driving a Lincoln, stress seems to evaporate into thin air, which leaves us to wonder, where does it go? Does it get tangled up in knots? Or disappear forever into some kind of bottomless pit? Or maybe it takes on a life all its own. Perhaps you'll come up with your own theory of where stress goes. Behind the wheel of a Lincoln is a mighty fine place to start.
Every time I eat stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, I play this song. But watch what happens when I play it backwards.
Eat stuffed crust backwards at just $12.99.
The original stuffed crust, only from Pizza Hut. No one out pizzas the Hut.
At touchofmodern.com, we always surprise, excite, inspire. So scan the QR code to discover a constantly changing collection of products that are never ordinary, never mundane, and never in a million years what you'd expect to see or imagine you'd ever have. Here's to the thrill of discovering the next exceptional and unexpected product. Check it all out at touchofmodern.com.
As a business owner, navigating the sale of your business can be complex. We can help prepare owners for transition events by developing a comprehensive pre- and post-exit plan designed to maximize the value of your business while pursuing your goals. I'm Ben Domingue, Senior Vice President, Wealth Management at UBS and member of the Exit Planning and Wealth Consulting Group of UBS. Call us today to start the conversation.
Liberty Mutual, customized car insurance, so you only pay for what you need. How much money can Liberty Mutual save you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $73,808. Yeah, everything hurts.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Here we go.
Let's try.
Boom! There it is. Here we go.
40-year-old Randy Corbett had been a teacher at Tracyton Elementary School for 18 years in Western Washington. During that time, he formed a pretty good idea of what kids were capable of doing. But on the morning of September 14th, 1992, Randy was surprised to discover that sometimes children can far exceed our expectations.
That's it, recess is over. Everybody back in class.
Among the students in Randy Corbett's new 6th grade class were Chris Sander and his best friend, the 11-year-old Aaron Rankin.
When Mr. Corbett came in, he told us to sit down and to get out our math books.
Take out your homework assignment.
He looked just like he did all the other days.
Okay. Number 1, 764. Okay. We round that to the nearest 10. The answer is 760, right? Number 2, 495. Down to the nearest 10, 490. Okay, that was number 2.
His eyes rolled back and he just collapsed.
Stephen Lotter didn't know what to do.
A lot of the kids were like They're laughing and they were saying it's just a joke, it's just a joke, don't get worried, because he's just faking it.
What's going on? Is he having a heart attack? What's going on?
Aaron just checked to see if he was breathing and checked for a pulse, and then he just started doing CPR.
My dad's a paramedic and my mom's a nurse. And my parents taught me to do CPR if someone doesn't have a pulse. I was scared because I figured he might not live.
I was just running really hard and I was sweating. Because I just was thinking, the faster I get there, then the sooner he'll get help, and the more chance I'll have of living.
Mr. Corbett's collapsed. In our classroom. He just fell over.
Teacher Ben Peterson heard the commotion from his classroom next door.
I saw him laying on his back. I immediately felt the pressure. I've got to do something because I thought of his 2 daughters and his wife.
Girls, let's go into my classroom.
School principal Ann Laurie had taken the CPR class every year for the last 12 years.
When I ran into the classroom and realized that there was something awful and real happening, some of the old trainings kicked in.
2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, Randy. What?
And that was probably one of the most frightening things that I've ever done.
Is he breathing? 2, no. 3.
I was very aware of the rhythm that we had established with the CPR to the point where I didn't even realize when Carrie had taken over for Ben.
Okay.
I was only hoping and praying that what we had done as a team was enough.
Within 6 minutes of Randy Corbett's collapse, rescue units with Kitsap County Fire District 15 arrived, including EMT Brian Dansky.
When we first pulled into the school, the first thing I noticed was the sign on the window that said Mr. Corbett. Instantly, that rang a bell that used to be my 6th grade teacher. I had no idea who it was actually that was down in the classroom until I moved around to his head to assist him in ventilations, and I saw that it was Mr. Corbett.
Come on, Randy.
I've done CPR on quite a few people, and you always want to save the person, but when you know the person, it's just that much extra that you want this person to survive.
Are you still on V-fib? We're charging. Everybody stand clear. 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 Shocking. Okay, and check for a pulse. No pulse.
The time that the paramedics were working on Randy were the scariest and most frightening and most horrifying 17 minutes of my life.
Everybody stand clear. 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 Shocking.
I wanted the paramedics to be done, and I wanted the happy ending to be right then and there.
Still in deep fib. We're gonna charge. Come on, Randy. Everybody stand clear. Clear. Shocking. Check for a pulse.
Come on, Randy.
We have a pulse. Okay, let's get a blood pressure on him.
Right after the fish shock, we got our rhythm back, and he started to breathe somewhat on his own.
You're up. We go, Randy. First in.
Randy was hospitalized for 7 days. Doctors determined that he suffers from an inherited condition which causes the electrical currents in his heart to malfunction and led to his cardiac arrest.
I had open heart surgery and had a defibrillator implanted in my chest. It sends an electrical impulse to my heart, so it's just like having a paramedic right at my side all the time with the 2 paddles. I don't look at it as something of fear. It's keeping me alive. So it's something to really be happy about.
Since the incident, Randy's wife, Sue, has learned how to do CPR.
He was lucky if this had to happen, that it happened at school. Aaron reacted so quickly, and the other students and the principal and the teachers did what they needed to do, and I'm sure that saved his life.
During Randy's recovery, Aaron visited him and brought get well cards from the whole class.
Thanks.
They told me that if I hadn't done CPR, he might not have lived. Before I thought, oh, it'll never happen to me. But now I know that it could happen to anyone.
Thanks for doing such a good job.
I was proud of myself, and I was glad that I was there that day.
The American Heart Association and the school district honored Aaron for saving his teacher's life.
The fact that he reacted so quickly in getting oxygen to Randy's brain set the stage for a successful ending. We're going to have all our 6th grade students trained in CPR.
We're here to learn CPR. And what I'm going to do is demonstrate the steps in initiating CPR, just like Aaron did on Mr. Corbett.
I believe that all children should be taught CPR all over the United States in school.
Shake and shot. Hey, are you okay?
And if they're taught, there'll be a lot of lives saved.
6 weeks after his cardiac arrest, Randy Corbett was ready to return to his teaching job.
Before it happened, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but now I do. I'm going to be a paramedic.
I wouldn't trade this class for any other class in the United States.
When our daughter and her kids moved in with us,
Kids, bedtime.
she was worried we wouldn't be able to keep up.
Of course we can.
What couldn't keep up was our bargain detergent.
Turns out it's mostly water, and that doesn't work as well on stains.
So we switched back to Tide. One wash, stains are gone.
Kind of like our class.
Okay, I'm gonna end this live stream now. And in the future, there will be more Pluto TV, IPTV, Rescue 911 streams.
New Hero ID technology on the PJ Masks Deluxe Battle HQ playset can light up with over 25 sounds and phrases. Look for other PJ Masks Hero ID playsets.
God, I can't end this stream. Froze up. I don't know what happened to it.
The ceramides and CeraVe.
I don't think it was recording.
My natural barrier, so I can lock in
Huh.
moisture. You've got to have each other's backs. CeraVe, developed with dermatologists.
Emily just got married. Congrats, by the way. And she's applying for life insurance online right now from her couch. With Haven Life. Let's watch. It looks like Emily can buy a Haven term policy for just $17.50 per month. That's around 30% less than the industry average. And now Emily can love her new life insurance just as much as her new life. This calls for 2 celebrations. Celebrate twice with Haven Life.
Every time I eat stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, I play this song.
Eat stuffed crust backwards at just $12.99.
The original stuffed crust, only from Pizza Hut. No one else pizza.